one of the communities that I think oftentimes gets left out in this concept is our houseless population. I don't like to say homeless people because that then puts a definer before the person. And so I like to say people who happen to be houseless because that recognizes their humanity first. And I remember one of the first times that my life got changed because of somebody who was a part of that community, in which, honestly, walking into the scenario, I was trying to do everything to avoid them. It went something like I was walking to the gas station so that way I could go grab myself a Slurpee and some chips, and then suddenly I saw a man standing on the corner. Immediately I reached into my pocket, not so I could grab money or anything like that, but so I could get my phone, so I could pretend like I was listening to music or fake like I was texting so I wouldn't so rudely dismiss his existence. But then suddenly a very particular smell invaded my nostrils. It reminded me of dirty diapers. It reminded me of garbage, spoiled milk, rotten food, everything that our culture deems worthy of throwing away the same way they view him. And then suddenly something told me in my soul, hey, yo, Brandon, dog, you need to put your pride aside and go talk to that man. So I did. I asked him if he wanted a Slurpee and some chips, and he said, sure. We sat on that street corner for what seemed like hours, and he began to tell me a story about himself and his kids, and I asked if he could share with me a little bit more. All he could do was say, glory, hallelujah, of course I can, and he began telling me the story of a man who had everything. You see, the people of this world, they bowed down at his feet as if at the altar of a god, and he allowed their praises to raise him. He allowed their words to elevate his flesh to the stature of God, and I think that's the Pharaoh complex, I'm pretty sure. But you see, the issue with towering above all has never been the climb up, but it's been that cataclysmic fall back down to humanity in which most don't survive. And I imagine him losing everything. I mean, all the cars, the girls, the money, the fame, just gone. And he told me that wasn't actually it. He told me, young man, one day I woke up to all of these material possessions and I realized that it was all worthless. It was all worthless, and that broke me. It broke me to look in the mirror and see my reflection splintered broken. So I grabbed everything I could fit in these two hands, and I ran, and I ran, and I ran till I couldn't run no more. It all seemed so real to him. You could see it in his eyes. It was like he was reliving that moment in time again and again and again. And he stopped my train of thought saying, young man, do you know why I smell like this? I said, no. He said, I smell like this to remind myself that self-sufficiency will no longer keep me clean, because do you know why you wear the clothes that you have on your back? Is it simply to look appealing, or is it to hide the fact that you're healing? Is it so that way you could cover up them scars to show the world how clean you think you are? Because, young man, please don't take offense to this. It was 3 years ago today that I ran away, and I ran into a building which I've never been into, spoke with a man in which I've never spoken with, because a voice like thunder cried out to me saying, give back to Caesar what is his, but give yourself back to me, yo God, because you are no longer ruled by that facade. You were made clean, you were made whole. So, Brandon, do you still have filth buried in the basement of your soul? Because if so, I know somebody who could help cleanse that. Never in a million years did I think I'd take hygiene tips from a guy like this. But I did. And the craziest part is, as all these cars drove by on the busiest street in Stockton, California, I wonder which one of us they thought was actually clean. So I guess the moral of the story is, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover.